Greenland, the world's largest island, occupies a pivotal position in the Arctic region, which is rapidly gaining global attention due to climate change, natural resources, and emerging trade routes. With 80% of its land covered in ice, Greenland has long been overlooked by many nations. However, as the Arctic ice melts, exposing vast reserves of rare earth elements, hydrocarbons, and opening up critical shipping lanes, Greenland has emerged as a hotspot for global geopolitics. For the United States, Greenland is a vital strategic asset to safeguard its Arctic interests and counter rival powers. For China, it is a gateway to the Arctic, offering access to resources, trade routes, and geopolitical leverage. Over the years, Beijing has systematically expanded its presence in Greenland, using economic tools, strategic investments, and diplomatic finesse to outmaneuver the United States. China's interest in Greenland can be traced back to the early 2000s, when Beijing began recognizing the island's untapped potential. Unlike the USA, which focused primarily on military dominance, China took a multi-pronged approach, leveraging its economic clout and long-term vision to establish a foothold. China identified Greenland's vast mineral wealth as a key opportunity to secure critical resources for its booming economy. Rare earth elements, essential for modern technologies like electric vehicles, wind turbines, and military hardware, are abundant in Greenland. China, already the world's largest producer of rare earth elements, sought to diversify its supply chain and consolidate its dominance by investing heavily in Greenlandic mining projects. One of China's most significant moves was its involvement in the Kvanefjeld mining project, which contains large reserves of uranium and rare earth elements. Through its state-owned company Shenge Resources, China entered into partnerships with Greenlandic firms, securing access to these critical resources. Beyond minerals, China also targeted Greenland's offshore oil and gas reserves and its rich fishing grounds, further strengthening its economic presence on the island. China's Belt and Road Initiative extended its reach to Greenland through infrastructure investments. Beijing proposed building airports, ports, and hydroelectric plants, presenting itself as a partner for Greenland's economic development. In 2018, Chinese companies bid to construct airports in Greenland, a move that alarmed Denmark and the USA. Although the bids were blocked under pressure from Washington, China's interest highlighted its strategy of using infrastructure to gain influence. China established scientific research stations in Greenland, ostensibly for climate studies, but potentially serving dual purposes, including surveillance and geopolitical monitoring. China also employed diplomatic and soft power strategies to build goodwill in Greenland. Beijing invited Greenlandic officials to China for economic discussions and cultural exchanges. Chinese scholarships and funding programs targeted Greenlandic students and professionals, fostering closer ties between the two regions. While China moved swiftly and methodically, the United States was slow to respond. For decades, American involvement in Greenland was limited to military interests, such as the Thule Air Base, established during the Cold War. Washington largely ignored the island's economic and diplomatic dimensions, giving China room to expand its influence. Trump's proposal to buy Greenland. In 2019, then-President Donald Trump proposed purchasing Greenland from Denmark, a move that was widely criticized as unrealistic and diplomatically clumsy. While the proposal underscored Greenland's strategic importance to the USA, it also highlighted Washington's reactive and transactional approach, which contrasted sharply with China's long-term strategy. Diplomatic outreach. Following China's increasing influence, the USA attempted to counter Beijing by strengthening its diplomatic presence in Greenland. In 2020, the US reopened a consulate in Nuuk, Greenland's capital, after decades of absence. The move aimed to bolster economic ties and monitor China's activities on the island, economic aid and investments. To compete with China's investments, the USA announced aid packages for Greenland and promised to support infrastructure projects. However, these efforts were perceived as reactive rather than proactive, lacking the scale and commitment of China's initiatives. China's activities in Greenland are part of its broader Arctic strategy. Beijing considers itself a near-Arctic state and has articulated its ambitions through the Polar Silk Road Initiative, which integrates the Arctic into its Belt and Road Initiative. Arctic shipping routes. Melting ice in the Arctic is opening new shipping lanes, such as the Northern Sea Route, which significantly reduces transit time between Asia and Europe. Greenland's strategic location makes it a key player in controlling these routes. China, in collaboration with Russia, is actively developing the Polar Silk Road to secure its access to these emerging trade corridors. Resource security. The Arctic is estimated to contain 13% of the world's undiscovered oil and 30% of its untapped natural gas, along with vast mineral reserves. Greenland's resources are central to China's strategy to secure energy and mineral supplies for its economy. Military considerations. While China's Arctic strategy is primarily economic, it also has military implications. Control over Arctic trade routes and resources could enhance China's geopolitical leverage, challenging the USA's dominance in the region. China's success in Greenland illustrates its ability to outmaneuver rivals through a combination of economic, diplomatic, and strategic initiatives. By investing in Greenland's resources, infrastructure, and local partnerships, Beijing has established a strong presence on the island, challenging the USA's dominance in the Arctic. While the USA remains a key player, its reactive approach has allowed China to gain significant ground. To counter Beijing's influence, Washington must adopt a more proactive and comprehensive Arctic strategy, addressing economic, environmental, and diplomatic dimensions. As the Arctic continues to thaw, the contest for Greenland will only intensify. The island's future will not only shape the geopolitics of the Arctic, but also the balance of power in the 21st century. In this high-stakes chess match, China's calculated moves have positioned it as a formidable player, leaving the USA struggling to catch up.